Privacy protection to Texans from drones with cameras was supposed to be granted by a state law passed a couple years ago, but a loophole left in the law leaves places along the border, like El Paso, unprotected. Reporter Darren Hunt has a story you'll see only on ABC 7.
Ashley, you'd think your privacy would be protected in places like your own backyard, and it is in much of the state, but a loophole in this 2013 legislation actually allows people to use drones with cameras within 25 miles of the border, covering all of El Paso.
Drones are a good tool. Like any tool, though, they can easily be misused. So that's the question, I guess, at hand.
Jackson Polk is a documentary filmmaker who uses drones to get shots like these of El Paso. He was surprised to learn a loophole in a state law allows him to use his drone with a GoPro camera within 25 miles of the border.
In the case of the drone business, since there's a loophole that now allows more use of it, I would suggest then it's just a matter of common sense and common courtesy.
Polk said he would never use drones to spy on people, but that doesn't mean others wouldn't.
I'm not out to harass somebody. Now, if you were out to harass somebody, you could probably do a really good job with one of these.
A subsection of the law states it is okay to capture an image of people or property within 25 miles of the U.S. border. The rule was meant to apply to law enforcement only, not private individuals, but they didn't specify it in the law.
Very concerning because here at the border, we're not 25 miles from the border, we're right on the border.
Famed local investigator J.J. Arms doesn't use drones, but he did have this to say about the loophole.
I think that it's very careless. Very careless because leaves the door open for anyone 25 miles to the border. That's almost here into New Mexico and to anywhere you want to go.
State Rep Joe Moody had this to say about it. The goal of the legislation was to protect privacy rights of Texas. This broad exemption on the border was never the intent. In fact, it runs contrary to the aim of the legislation. Now, Moody went on to say that the law will have to be amended in 2 years when the legislature meets again. He said it was passed during a, quote, hectic 140-day session, and this type of oversight is fairly common. Rick and Ashley.
Darren, thank you. We'll stay on top of things. An El Paso basketball legend and the last coach to lead an area high school team to a state title has died. Bobby Leslie played under